everyone. This is Suci Padro with the Owner team at Nation One Mortgage, and today I'm here with my good friend and referral partner, Misshel.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Susie, for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited that we get to do this. We've been talking about it now.
We've been talking about it, and now we're doing it.
Oh, we just had the cutest.
We did. We actually had the best closing right now with actually a referral. And it was so funny because it was a long process, right? Unfortunately, not because of us, because of the other side, but they left us an amazing review, like an amazing review.
They were. So cute.
And they were so happy.
Yeah. I loved working with that couple. They were so sweet. It was their first home, and I think that they needed a lot of guidance. And I think that's why it's so important that you and I are such a good team and own it, and you and your team, Wendy Rodriguez, because we've been working together a little while, and there's certain things that work really well when the other team, right? They needed a lot of hand holding, and they were really nervous, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be here to answer questions and make them feel better. Their file was done within 3 weeks, start to finish. The seller wasn't ready on some title issues, and sometimes that's the hard part, right? You're ready to close, so you think that as soon as your file is ready to close, you're gonna be in your home, and sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah, and honestly, from beginning to end, I think that because we handheld them and we were very patient, especially you guys, I know you had so much patience with them. You were willing to answer them, and that's the whole point, right? To be able to help them accomplish that dream of homeownership. He was explaining to us his background and how this was like the first time anyone in his family had purchased a home.
Oh, that's amazing that we were able to help that milestone.
That was like, wow. And we are truly like impacting lives. And I love that. That's part of the reason why we do this. And I think that for us to have that partnership, we are on the same page. Yeah. We know what we want to do. And, to many, many more, God willing, we have more closings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, since we've been working together, I feel like we also have great conversations. And you sometimes work with Gladys and Hadir, and it depends on who's the loan officer working in the file with you. But I think that communicating, saying, hey, the client's like this use of taxes makes such a difference through that transaction, because we really make sure they're coached through not just affordability, but can you sustain this type of loan?
Right.
Is this what you want to spend? Do you want to have this large amount of debt on a monthly basis, or do you rather have a more moderate payment so you can still travel, quality of your life? Everybody's different, right? If all you care is about your house and you want to maximize your monthly payment because you want the house of your dreams, because this means so much to you, you want to cook, you want to host, and you need that's great. Then, certain things are for you. But I think it's so important that we communicate that way so we can provide the right service for that particular client.
I think that's what makes us different, that we're very much into education. So we're educating our client long term for them to have not just, like you said, not just a closing, but long term, they're going to be able to sustain what they're purchasing. And, we spoke about refinancing afterwards when the rates are dropping. We spoke about so many things to help them. We weren't just going to leave them after we closed. We are still there.
Absolutely.
They're still texting me, Misshel, do you think that you can help me figure out, how I can do the STAR program, and, maybe help me with the owners, figure out what days were it's just, that's what we do. They
inherited you.
Yeah.
You came with the house.
Exactly. And I don't mind that. And I tell all my clients, and Gladys too. Gladys is awesome because we always tell them, like, we're here to help you guys, not just after the loan is closed, but like long term. And that's how we build connections. That's how we get the referrals that we do, because it's that consistent follow-up and that hand holding that sometimes a lot of people, they just don't like to do, but that's, I think, part of the job, especially in this field.
Some people are very transactional, right? They're here when you're buying, but once it's done on to the next. And I don't feel that that's the experience when they work with either one of our teams. Yeah. The experience with you guys is you guys are very much involved in the community. You're very much in the pulse of what's happening, and you want to make sure that they know, that you're available after home ownership. Exactly.
And that's why we work well together. So I'm excited. We have a couple of more deals in the pipeline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To many more.
Yes, Susie. So we are in the fourth quarter of the year. And, a lot of people have mixed emotions. Some people are like, it doesn't make sense for me to buy. I'm just going to wait. Christmas is coming. End of the year is coming. Tax season's around the corner. I'll just wait. But we're seeing some interesting things happen in the Treasury. And I think that that's a big game changer. So I don't know if you can give us some more information on that.
Absolutely. So we were just discussing, and the Treasury is at 3.99 today. And it's super important to know that, because that means that impacts how our rates react, right? I also know that the job numbers haven't been released because, as you guys know, there's been a shutdown for, I think we're on the 27th day or whatnot of that shutdown. So that also is an impactful part of where the rates are going, but we still do see that the rates are a lot lower than they've been in the past couple of months.
Yeah.
Right now, FHA is at a 5.8.
Wow.
And which you haven't seen that in several years. In a conventional, you're at a 6, and if you want to do 15, you're in the 5s again. So it depends on if the buyer really is serious about buying. It's super important for them to educate themselves now, because we're expected to have a couple more rate cuts. And so when we're coming into the new year, into the first quarter, the market's going to be completely flooded with all these buyers that were waiting. And if you wait to know what you can afford till then, you're going to be putting in offers at the same time as everybody else's. You're not going to stand out.
Yeah.
Right now, during the holidays, a lot of people take a step back because they want to enjoy the holidays. But serious buyers that are committed to becoming homeowners, they're still looking at houses. And those buyers are going to have the upper hand because they're going to go into contract and are going to beat the rush that we expect to see in the new year.
So that's pretty much where it brings to my point. So it is, in a way, those that are truly committed to this process, it's better to buy now. So you beat out the competition, and I think you would even have more selection of homes because not that many people are looking right now.
Correct. And what happens is also you're going to not overpay, right? Because there won't be as many offers. A lot of times when the market is overly saturated, it's just what happens when people wait till the spring or the summer. You're beating 10, 15 offers. If there's only 2 other offers, you have a very good likelihood of paying a much more fair price versus waiting when everybody else is in the market as well.
Of course, and that's why it matters who you work with, because if we are seeing these numbers, when we have that experience, we're also able to negotiate for you on your behalf. That is the whole point, that you hire someone as a realtor.
Correct. And something that I wanted to bring up too, that I've been seeing recently that we hadn't seen for a while, I hadn't seen concessions being accepted. And in the past couple of months, I see concessions in a lot of the purchases that we're working on. So that's a great thing to think about, because this gives you, if you need some kind of help with your closing costs, this would be a much better time than in the new year, because if there's a big pool of buyers, most sellers aren't going to consider it.
And that's a big point to bring up, because a lot of people are again thinking this is a fourth quarter, I'll just wait. You know, for them, they don't see the potential and that there's actually is a possibility they can buy. So let's say even if you had, as a first time home buyer, obviously we have to check all the information, all of their income. But if it does work out, even if they only had $25,000 to purchase a house, they would be able to do it, because we're in that market where we're seeing, like you said, soft cushioning with the seller's concessions. Less competition. That's like the most important thing.
Absolutely.
And then of course they have a great team. They have me, they have you to be able to guide them and make sure that it's possible.
Absolutely. And I think that when they sit down and we are able to coach them, even if they want to just start just a conversation, they'll get a little more of an idea of what they can do and how realistic it is to become a homeowner. A lot of people are even scared to take that first step. Because I'm not ready, I'm not. And then when they leave, I actually had a conversation with someone that was referred to me. She goes, I actually called Rocket Mortgage and they told me I don't qualify.
Wow.
And she goes, I just want to speak to you, because she goes, the other person, I did everything online. They called me, but she was like, you help a few of my friends. So I sat with her, and when we finished the conversation, she qualified.
Wow.
She qualified. We did some work. We kind of boosted her credit scores because that was important. But while she was boosting her credit scores, she was looking towards her purchase. She was able to purchase a house, and she's a homeowner.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
If she would have waited because another company told her that they couldn't, she would have been waiting for a couple of years for absolutely no reason, because sometimes it depends on the coaching.
Correct.
She did, and we did different options, right? She took a partial concession, and she was able to retrieve funds from her 401k towards a down payment without any penalty, because that's what the company she was with allowed her to do as a first-time home buyer. So there's a lot of different tricks that you can use towards home ownership, and now she's creating generational wealth.
And that's amazing. And you actually touched on 2 topics that I think a lot of people aren't aware about, which is, the Own It team nationwide. You guys have an amazing credit specialist that actually helps our clients get to where they need to be if they're not there yet.
Correct.
Can you give us a little bit more information?
So we have someone in-house that's able to kind of, if the credit score is at a 600 and we need 620, 660. The better the score, the better the rate that we can offer
Yeah.
to the clients. So we're able to kind of see what he can do. He'll do a scenario and say, hey, they need to pay this down, they need to do this, and this, and then we'll assist in over a couple of weeks in helping them with the rescore. We also, when it's more of a difficult situation, like real things that are have like a bankruptcy or collections, we have someone else that we refer out to as well that's able to help. So we try to be a one-stop place. We can help you really from start to finish. And it doesn't need to be that you're ready now. For us, it's how can we get you ready?
Exactly. And it's all in-house, which I think is amazing. And that makes you guys also very competitive because not a lot of other banks are offering, those type of things, those programs. And then the second thing that you touched base, and we actually spoke about this not too long ago, was the 401k. Correct. A lot of people, they don't know that they can use their 401k. Of course, each 401k is different depending on the union. We have to make sure that it is okay to take that money out. But can you give us also more information on that?
So a lot of buyers, with their 401k, it depends on what the agreement is with the company that their 401k is with. A lot of them, it could be taken out as a loan and it's a nominal repayment plan. Some of them, if your first time home buyer, you're able to take it without any penalties. So the first thing that you do with that is you kind of contact your 401k company and ask them, what does it look like if I retrieve the funds towards a purchase? A lot of times they'll tell you, we need a contract, we need this, we need that, and you can take it out penalty free. And if there's a penalty, they'll tell you what the penalty is, or if it's a repayment, if it's like at a very low interest rate. So there's different ways for you to use those funds, but you first have to ask the company that the 401k is with.
And that's always done, at the appointment when we're doing the buyer intake to make sure that, this is going to be something possible for you. Because we've heard stories where, unfortunately, they just say they're able to do it, and then we're ready to put the money down for the deposit, and they're not able to take the money out. And that's something that we don't want to happen, which is so important, again, that we're giving this information out and we're doing this from the beginning, because there is a will and a way to purchase a home. We just have to figure it out. We have to be creative, and you're very creative. Yeah. My mom, our team, we're very creative. So I think that's also very important.
To us, it's so important because education is big, right? To me, it's so important that the buyer, when they sit down, they know exactly what the steps are going to be. They shouldn't be in the dark. When we discuss buying a house and I say, here's your pre-approval, $500,000, I don't want the buyer to wonder, what's the next phase to the steps of home ownership. No, you're going to know. If you're using a portion of funds from your 401k, we're going to discuss that. We're going to ask you to get your quarterly statement. We're going to ask you to call your 401k company to see what the terms are. We're going to ask you if you have your money in a CD account and when, what penalties is it if you retrieve it early, or are we going to wait? We're going to know exactly where those funds are coming from before you start you're looking for your house, because you don't ever want to be in a place where the buyer thinks they're going into contract, but they don't actually have the ability to get into contract.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I love it. All this information you're giving out, and this is just, I think, just the base of everything that we can definitely cover for people that are interested and looking to seriously buy, right? To make that step, commit themselves to, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna begin my journey on generational wealth, because that's ultimately what they're creating.
Absolutely. And a lot of families, it's so important buying a home because it creates a different atmosphere for your kids, right? It's a different experience. Your home ownership, there's a pride in being a home ownership, and then they have something that they can call theirs that can be passed down to their family.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So if anyone wants to work with us, I think it's really easy to get in contact with us. We have not only our social medias, but you can reach out to us and we'll make sure that it's I guess on this video. You can reach out to us via text message, you can call us, email. We're readily available.
Correct. So if you want to reach out to us, we have the Own It Team page, me directly, Suci Padro, on Instagram, and we will make sure that the information for each one of us is on the video, so you're able to contact us as well. And I'm sure it's easy to find the Team Wendy Rodriguez. They're everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely have all that information for you guys. And thank you so much again for having us.
Absolutely. This was so fun. We need to do it again.
Yes.
Next time we have to have coffee.
Yes. Actually, I was going to tell you that. Next time is going to be coffee and mortgages.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.